Hello, my name is Anya Gass. I'm 26 years old and I'm from New York, and I've been living in Switzerland for 4 years. So my role has changed a little bit over the last few years, but I'm currently working on communications related work here at Plan International's United Nations office in Geneva, and Plan International is an international children's rights organization. So I have a bachelor's in international relations from Georgetown University, and then I came to Switzerland to do my master's in anthropology and sociology of development here at the Graduate Institute in Geneva. During my studies I focused mostly on issues related to women and girls as well as migration. So currently my job is related to a specific project that our office is working on. Together with the United Nations Special Rapporteur on the sale of children, child prostitution and child pornography, we're developing a report and a child-friendly booklet to accompany the report. The goal is to inform children of how they can engage with the UN on the specific issues related to sale and sexual exploitation of children. So my job is to do the layout of the report as well as to develop the booklet. So Plan has a lot of experience developing child-friendly materials, so it's been very interesting to see all the different elements that go into producing materials for children, especially on sensitive topics such as these. You have to think about, how do you design and do an illustration that's age appropriate? How do you phrase? How do you use the language in a way that is understandable and also appropriate for children? So that's been very interesting. So I didn't actually choose communications per se. I kind of stumbled into it, if you will. Some opportunities opened up and I realized that it was something that fit my strengths. I always knew that I wanted to work in an international NGO. I've always been really passionate about issues of global justice. But when some opportunities came up related to communications, I realized that actually I really like writing, and this is something that seems to fit my profile really well. So I would say there are 3 main types of skills required for my particular job. The first one is writing skills. There's the technical side of writing, so being able to construct good phrases, to use good grammar and vocabulary. Then there's also the language element. Being able to speak multiple languages, I think, is a huge asset. I've seen that it makes it so much easier that that I'm almost fluent in a few languages, to be able to easily switch between them in my writing. We have audiences that are Francophone, we have audiences that are Spanish speaking and English speaking. So to be able to communicate in all 3 of those languages, it's a huge asset, I think. The second set of skills I would say is a more strategic component. Being able to think about who is my audience, what are they interested in, what is going to move them to action or a certain reaction that I would like to provoke. So it's being able to think in the strategic kind of way. And the third set of skills, I would say there's a certain level of technological savvy that you have to have, or at least is very helpful to have. To know how to use a website and to put stuff on a website, to use social media, to be able to use databases for contact management. It's not a necessary skill, but it's something that makes life a little bit easier when you're doing communications. I would say that one of the most rewarding things is that when you've written something and you see that it starts getting shared on social media, people are commenting about it, reposting it. It's a really exciting feeling to see, really concretely the results of your labor. And on the flip side of that, I would say it's very challenging when you've written something and it kind of just seems to disappear into cyberspace. You know, if it doesn't get shared very much on social media, you don't really know what the impact of what you've done is. And someone could be sitting there on their couch with their laptop and completely moved by what you've written, and it might change their life, but you would have no idea if they didn't, you know, share it or post it or anything. So it's this, you know, sense of, you know, you're not really sure really what is the impact of what you've done, and that can be challenging. So this is actually not really related to my current communications work, but rather on some advocacy work that I had done previously in this office. One of the things that we do is provide input to resolutions done by the Human Rights Council. The Human Rights Council is, you know, a body of governments that does policy and sets standards on international human rights on different topics. And so particularly, you know, we provide language, we try to influence the outcome of these documents. And so I had the chance to work on one of these resolutions last year. And it was really exciting to see, you know, you meet with governments, you explain to them why you think certain elements are important, why, you know, certain phrasing, certain language is important to include in the document. And then at the end, when you see that certain of those things have been included in the final document, is really exciting because you see the concrete impact of work that you've done. For me, International Geneva represents looking beyond national borders and having a perspective that goes beyond just your own country, your own community. I think Geneva has a really unique potential to inspire people to think more broadly, more globally. You know, and what I hope to be able to contribute to that is to continue this, you know, to continue Geneva to keep this identity as this outward-looking city, and to encourage other people to really see Geneva as a place that can inspire people to look beyond themselves and their own communities. I think there are several ways to enter your career. On the one hand, you can enter from a more functional or occupation entrance. You know, for example, you're interested in finance, for example, but you would like to do that with a focus on the nonprofit sector. You know, go for studies in finance, go for what you're interested in, and then those skills that you acquire, you'll be able to apply. You know, and then on the other hand, you can enter from a more thematic perspective. You know, and this is kind of what I did. I knew that I was really interested in issues of inclusion and non-discrimination, and you know, how to create a more equitable and just society for vulnerable people. And so I studied that. I studied anthropology, I studied sociology, and I gained as much knowledge as I could. And it was challenging sometimes because you compare yourself to other people who know exactly what they want to do, and they have their, you know, clear direction into a particular occupation, and I didn't seem to have that. But my advice to young people would be, follow what you're interested in. If you're more interested in in a particular occupation, whether it be IT or law or economics, you know, go for that. If you just feel that you're really drawn to a particular theme, go for that. And you know, what you'll do with that after, it'll fall into place eventually.